Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. We all know the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again, but somehow expecting a different result. So in terms of Joseph Parker, his trainer Kevin Barry has now conceded to New Zealand media some things they've been doing in the past 18 months haven't worked as well as they thought they might, and that things will be changing. Certainly on this channel there's been some great debate in the comments section regarding Parker's general career progress. I mean, many feel that he has plateaued in terms of his development, he's lost a bit of speed as he's bulked up, and generally he's gone a little off the boil in 2017. So Kevin Barry, he will now be flying to New Zealand for a 6-week pre-Christmas training camp to help Parker lose weight and work on foot speed. I'll get to Barry's statements and then a few thoughts because I think this change is very significant. So Kevin Barry, he has told stuff.co.nz, see the link in the description, that with Parker's strength improved, the aim now would be for him to lose around 4 kilograms and get more spring in his step. We put some size on him and some extra muscle, but I want to get him back to the high 230s. That's why it's very important we use the 6 weeks before Christmas to get really good results in the gym. It's important that we get his weight down. I'd like to see his feet a little faster, and that's something we will be working on. He has done a lot of work on his legs. If you look at his legs, when he first came over here to the States in 2013, and what they look like now, they have just about doubled in size. He has big legs now, but I don't want the extra muscle on the legs to make him less mobile, and that's what we will be doing a lot of work on and making his feet a little faster. I want Joe to be different from them by being able to throw more punches than them, and that comes with the hands and the feet working together. Getting this camp in before Christmas, we're going to hit the ground running in January, and it won't take long to get Joe back into fighting shape. Now that we have got the mandatory out of the way, there is every chance we can fit in 2 voluntary defences prior to either fighting another mandatory or looking at a unification bout. So there is quite a bit to unpack there from Kevin Barry, who is Joseph Parker's trainer. First off, I really like the fact that they have identified something isn't quite clicking at Parker's current fighting weight, which for the Fury fight was 246 pounds. I mean, even though Parker did look fitter in that fight, his gas tank looked improved, I thought he came in a little heavy. He did have some trouble catching up with Fury and cutting off the ring. Personally, I think he's always looked at his sharpest at somewhere around 240 or even a hair below. I mean, it is worth noting that Parker was 234 pounds for the Takam fight 18 months ago. So Barry is acknowledging that while Parker has made some gains power-wise from the bulking up, the additional weight has eaten away at some of his speed advantages, in particular his foot speed. I mean, given Parker has fast hands, I mean, you want his feet being able to work somewhat in unison with his hands. I mean, there's no point having speedy hands if your feet just can't keep up. It remains to be seen though if losing weight and focusing on footwork drills will help balance Parker out. But it is definitely something I think needs to happen. Something needed to happen. I mean, the fact that they are going to be spending a 6-week block of time focusing on those 2 things is very interesting and it's very telling. I mean, it's no secret that Parker packed on the beef after he fought Razvan Kajanu in May. He ended up losing more than 20 pounds in his training camp for the Fury fight in September. So this block of time to help thin down the 25-year-old is definitely a signal. They don't want to be having to focus so much on having to lose weight when he is in training camp. So when he gets in camp in 2018, they want to hit the ground running. I mean, Barry himself, he will know the perils of a fighter blowing up in weight between fights. It did become a bit of an issue and an established pattern for David Tua in his career. So it's definitely a cautionary tale for Parker. Staying in shape between fights, or relatively good shape, it is important. And let's face it, you don't want to have to be making training camp into the boxing version of The Biggest Loser. You want Parker coming into camp relatively in good shape so he can focus on the game plan side of things and sharpening his skills. And 2018 is shaping to be a big year. So it sounds like he's got a couple of possible voluntary defences. I mean, obviously he has to win them. And then possibly unification. So that's what they're looking at. So they will need the best version of Joseph Parker, showing up for those fights. I'm not so sure that we actually saw the best of Joseph Parker in 2017. But at the end of the day, the key thing for him is he got through his fights, he's come through the year, he picked up some experience, and he held on to the belt. The stuff.co.nz story also notes that the Fujimoto fight may still be on the table, and that a fight with a resurgent Brian Jennings could also be on the cards in the United States. I have to say, given Brian Jennings has only had one bum fight under his belt in the past 2 years, he's only just come back from a hiatus, I do find it interesting that the word resurgent has been paired with his name. We do know, though, that Bob Arum is keen on that fight. He has a co-promotional arrangement in place with Duco Events. He hasn't really had the opportunity to use it yet. He wants to make some money off Parker through a Jennings fight. But, it's hard to see if the money, and especially the money that Team Parker is after, will be there for that fight right now. And Jennings, he would surely need a half-decent win on his resume before a fight like that would get made. The what next in terms of an opponent, it certainly is a little unclear. And I'm just going to chop to some other comments that Kevin Barry has made. So Stuff quotes Barry as having said that they are in discussions with a potential opponent and his team, a fight he believes will be an exciting fight, a fight that people will want to see. He says they are working towards that. Getting the mandatory out of the way was very important. Let's put a couple of fights in that we choose and see where that takes us. We're in a very exciting position at the moment. And in terms of Deontay Wilder, Barry had this to say: I could make the Deontay Wilder fight tomorrow if I wanted to. We have an excellent relationship with their team. Jay Diaz is a classy guy, a guy I have a lot of respect for as a manager-trainer. Al Heyman I've had several conversations with over the last 12 months also. I have to say, it might have been a bit of a throwaway comment from Barry, but it's kind of disappointing for me. I mean, that statement, Barry is just so blasé about how easy it would be to make a Parker-Wilder fight. And a lot of fans want that fight. Given it has not been made, indicates they have no interest right now in making that fight and pursuing Wilder at this point. And as Barry said earlier, they might try to squeeze in a voluntary defense or two before a unification fight takes place. So when Deontay Wilder is repeatedly calling out Parker and saying Parker doesn't want that work, it certainly gets harder to defend when Barry is making statements like he could make that fight tomorrow if he wanted to. Just like Barry is trying to find a balance with Parker's speed and weight, he and Duco need to find a balance with future opponents. Otherwise it will just look like they are trying to take the piss and milk the belt for money. And I'm not sure Joseph Parker is all about that. He said he doesn't want to be fighting bums. And in that regard, I'm disappointed to hear Barry say that the Fujimoto fight is still a possible opponent, that fight is still in play. What do you make of it? Drop a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. That's boxing_squared. I'm out.